Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Kurt Leavins. Welcome, Kurt.
Hello, David. How are you tonight?
Well, I'm like most Oiler fans tonight. I'm on a sugar high, 6-2 win, Edmonton Oilers. Kurt, it was one of the most enjoyable games of the year for me because I saw a team that can compete in the playoffs for the first time. Not necessarily a team that can win in the playoffs, because there's still a few problems, but a team that can compete in the playoffs for the first time, because I saw four lines that worked. I haven't seen that, I don't think, all year long, and I saw it tonight.
And for the most part, there were three pairings that worked as well, with the odd hiccup here and there. So
there were some hiccups. We'll get into that. And a goalie who looked like he could win in the playoffs.
Yep, he didn't need to be great tonight, but he was as good as he needed to be. I thought he kept it close until the offense kicked in, and then he really didn't need to do much after that.
Yeah. So the grade A shots were the score was indicative of the flow of play. The grade A shots were 26-11 for the Oilers.
Wow.
With the subset of 5 alarm shots, 16-4 for the Oilers. So they really stomped Nashville, though, who did make a bit of a game of it in the third period with a couple of Californians. We'll talk about that in a second. Kurt, 2 good things, 2 bad things, and 2 numbers. And because it was such a great victory, we'll go with 2 good things each. What's your first good thing?
Well, my good thing will be the hat trick by Connor McDavid. I'm sitting here looking at my game grades, and I'm kind of having second thoughts, because normally when you grade a guy a 9, it's like, wow, he's had a great game. And I'm sitting here thinking, was it just a 9?
Was it a 10?
Or was it a 10? And this is, you and I've had this conversation before. When we get to watch this guy game in and game out since he arrived in our city, at some point in the subtlest of ways, you start to take for granted what he does and just how magical of a hockey player he actually is. Any other Edmonton Oilers scores a hat trick, it's a 10. Right?
Well, Draisaitl will get a 9 too.
Yeah. So, but he was terrific. The first goal, he just swallowed up that pass from Bouchard, and he flew past Ryan O'Reilly like he wasn't there. I mean, it's like he was playing darts. And then the move he put on one of the best goaltenders in the world was just like, how do you stop that? How can McDavid possibly put a better move on him? Well, just wait, because then he gets interfered with on the breakaway. The penalty shot is quite correctly awarded, and this one, as I wrote on the game grades, should have been hung in the Louvre. A double feint in front and then bar down, like Jesus. Like that's unfair. What a goal. He popped in the hat trick with 56 seconds left in the game. Was named the game's first star, has been on an unbelievable heater, and I'm running out of ways to say this is maybe the best we've ever seen Connor McDavid, but maybe this is the best we've ever seen Connor McDavid.
Yeah. It's like he's trying to make this like in the NBA, a great player can win the game all by himself because he plays most of the game. Well, McDavid can't do that, but he's still trying to make it like that, where he can win the game all by himself. And I watched his post-game interview tonight, and he was talking about what a pleasure it was to play with McDavid and with Nugent and Hyman.
Yeah.
And I just thought, because, I've been one of the people writing, they need a third and a fourth line if they're going to compete in the playoffs. Sure. They won't. Like, this is an imperative. It's not this is the thing they've got to solve. So I've been saying, maybe move Nuge to the third line. Like, you got to do this. And
I've been reluctant on that front.
And at the same time as I said it, this week. I said, at the same time, when you look at how well this line is done, they're crushing it. And it's hard to break that up. And I said, I'm not going to lose my mind if the coach doesn't break it up. And that was reinforced not just by tonight's game, but by McDavid afterwards. It's not. Some people don't like it when you take into account the feelings of your superstars on your team. Like they're repelled by that notion that you shouldn't do that. But of course you should do that. Like
Absolutely.
These guys are the team. Like they are so important to the team, especially now when the NHL is so close. There's such parity. And the thing that can take you to the Stanley Cup final 2 years in a row is these great players, McDavid and Draisaitl. You've got to listen to them. You've got to give them what they want, unless it's crazy, but you've got to find a way to work with them. And if Connor McDavid wants to play with Zach Hyman and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and let him play with those two players and figure it out. Get a different solution then for the third and fourth lines.
Yeah, I like to figure it out. I have two comments on that. One is, with very rare exceptions, and I've been fortunate to be around a lot of the best players in the game over the last 35 years. Very lucky. And with rare exceptions, the elite players are also usually very smart people, highly intelligent. One of the things that makes them great is they think so incredibly well. And almost to the superstar, I can say that about the best players in the game over the past 35 years. The other thing is, we constantly talk, we should move, Nugent-Hopkins down and make him the third line center. Yet in the next breath, we'll talk about how Team Canada should really bring Nugent-Hopkins and Hyman and play them on the same line with McDavid. So it's fine to do it at Team Canada, but don't do it here. So, yeah, what a performance. All three guys on that line were very good tonight, but only one guy can be the best, and only one guy can be first star most nights, and that was 97.
I thought Hyman actually set the tone for the Oilers in that game early on with that great back check.
Yes.
And then charging up the ice to get in on McDavid's first grade A shot of the game.
I thought he was at his forechecking best tonight. I thought that was reminiscent of Hyman in the playoffs last year. Not quite to that level, but it's like, I see that player in there, right? So, yeah.
And on the back check, he didn't stop skating when he got within a stick length of him, like I've complained about so often. He kept going until he got the guy. And that's how it's done. So Zach Hyman he's such a fantastic player. And he might be there. I'm not saying I heard there might be an injury to Brad Marchand. We'll see if that's serious or not. But if it is, can't imagine he's not the first call up to replace that kind of player, to replace Marchand. But it's still early. We don't know about that.
After that back check, I don't know if you noticed this, after the back check, he also busted his ass back up the ice and was the net front presence in front on the same shift. Like, it was the best shift he's had all year, man. It was really something.
And there were some good shifts in that game, but he did set the tone with that play. Yeah, McDavid's goals, the first goal was weird, though, I have to say. As he was cutting into the middle of the ice there was a defenseman that could have went to him, but he decided to go cover, I think it was Hyman down low, which is a good idea, to cover the guy he's going to go likely to pass to McDavid, knowing McDavid. But there was already a Nashville player on that guy, so it was a terrible misread by the Nashville defenseman. And then the door's wide open for McDavid to come in and make an unbelievable deke.
Yeah.
Like, just who can make that deke? There's maybe 3 or 4 players in the NHL who could pull off a deke like that. Jack Hughes, maybe Connor Bedard, maybe a few others that have incredible hands like that. I haven't seen Macklin Celebrini enough to say, but there's just so few that could ever orchestrate a play like that.
Yeah.
What a deep.
Well, when you wind back the play, he started picking up speed at the defensive blue line.
Yes.
So that's where he was starting. It was almost like a running back coming out of the backfield.
And by the time he crossed the blue line, he wasn't striding anymore. He was just kind of on his skates wide.
It was momentum, right?
Yeah,
And the other
because he was
thing in
going
that
so
play, because
fast.
you mentioned Nashville's defensive structure. Here's the problem: Draisaitl entered the zone so fast and then stopped on a dime, so all four players in the diamond stopped at the same time.
Yeah,
Just as the pass was going into the middle for McDavid, those guys had just finished stopping. So you are at a dead stop, and he's at full speed coming into the zone.
good luck.
Like, you're screwed.
You
You
totally
don't
are
have a
screwed.
chance, right?
You
It
totally
was
are.
there were it was a fascinating play. There were so many good plays on that particular sequence. It's easy to overlook how fabulous the goal itself was.
And anyone who's ever played defense almost at any level, like if like that feeling where you're standing still and the offensive player's coming at you full speed, it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, you're so screwed.
Yeah.
You're
Like, I
so
don't
done.
take a shot at Ryan O'Reilly in the game grades because no other center is going to make a different play on it than he did. Like, it's just
Yeah.
all you can
Well,
do is wave at him and hope you hit him on the way by.
sometimes you get lucky. Okay, my good thing, Kurt. I thought the game, the Oilers were dominant throughout, but it was still close until the 3-0 goal. I thought
Yep.
that was a critical goal. Comes right after the penalty shot goal by McDavid. Some people were complaining about the penalty shot I saw, but I thought it was
Hmm.
watching it again. You know, it's not usually what they would call a penalty shot in the NHL. I will say that, but it's what they should call a penalty shot in the NHL. He was in all on his own, and the guy
Yep.
the guy took him from behind. They should call that more often a penalty shot, is what I'll say.
Agree.
Although
Yep.
I
Right with
do
you.
agree with critics of it. Like, that's not the usual penalty shot, but that's what they should do. Anyway, a moment later, the I guess it's the fourth line. Although Savoy was playing with Roslovic and Howard as the game went on, maybe there was a line change there. Anyway,
Well,
they're
Henrique went
four-checking.
out with an injury halfway through the first, so
Yes.
they had to
So yeah,
shuffle the bottom
they're
six.
shuffling around there. Anyway, it's Savoy, Janmark, and Lazar. And Janmark just makes a fantastic back-checking play where he pops the puck off the guy's stick. It goes to Lazar, who threads it at the net, and Savoy tips it, then jams it on net. He almost scores. Then he's right in front of the goalie as Lazar pounds it in, and it's just the kind of goal. The bottom two lines have not been scoring. They've scored like this maybe 20 even strength goals now all season long. It's terrible. Then they've given up twice as many, 40, more than 40. So this is a disaster for the Oilers. It's the biggest problem on the team right now by far. Now that they've kind of, for the time being, at least looks like the goaltending's okay. This is a disaster, and a slow-moving disaster. Good thing about a slow-moving disaster, you have time to fix it.
Hmm.
And maybe they're starting to figure it out. Because Lazar and Janmark on a fourth line, that might work. And I'm not sure who the other player is going to be, but maybe Henrique. But Janmark is having a very strong season defensively. And Curtis Lazar is a low event hockey player, but he wins that low event battle. He doesn't score a lot, but he does hit, and he's a solid defensive player.
And good in the faceoff dot.
Yeah. So great to see that line score that kind of goal. Just go to the net and pound it in, and it was maybe that's a fourth line that we'll see. Maybe Savoy has been asked to do too much. Although maybe he's going to step up and play a little higher. He was involved in a lot of stuff tonight, but huge goal.
Agreed.
Kurt, your second good thing.
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and career assist number 500. And I kind of want to, for those who didn't have the benefit of watching or listening to the game, when they announced the 6-2 goal, the ovation that Nugent-Hopkins got for career assist number 500 was bigger than the hat trick for Connor McDavid. I thought that was emblematic of just how popular of a player and how deeply respected and frankly loved Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is in this market. It was a pretty assist. It was a really nice pass in between a defender's feet made for a relatively easy goal for Connor McDavid, at least by NHL standards. 500 assists in the NHL is a pretty impressive benchmark on its own. But if you really rewind your mind back through all of the tough years when Ryan Nugent-Hopkins stuck it out with this team, when they were bad, and he was one of the only few good things worth watching. But this guy showed up night in and night out, stayed in this community night in and night out, signed 2 long-term contracts, the second one a value one, is the longest tenured Oiler. So yeah, 500 is an impressive number, but really it's emblematic of his time and his stick-to-itiveness and his loyalty to the Edmonton market.
I wonder if he'll score 1,000 points for the Oilers, Kurt. That would be fantastic. He's got 782.
Yeah.
So there's a chance that he's going to do that. And that would be just magical. That would be fantastic.
Well, he's having a resurgent offensive season, right? We thought last year was okay. He's starting to slow down, but he's at over a point a game clip right now.
Started in the playoffs, 20 points in 22 games, and now 34 points in 34 games. So he's really coming on. Yeah, there was a time when both after McDavid and Draisaitl established themselves, and then the Oilers had a couple really crappy years in like 2017, 2018, 19, where people talked regularly about trading Nugent-Hopkins. And I don't know if it ever came close to happening, but, at that time, he was a different player. He wasn't strong defensively. He wasn't tenacious enough, and he wasn't strong enough physically, I don't think. But in the last 2 or 3 years, this guy has come on and become a really strong defensive hockey player. And at the same time, his offensive skills haven't atrophied. He's got this same incredible smart passing game. Like the 500th assist was a beautiful pass where he took his time and found McDavid. There was another great play in the first period, and Louis DeBrusque pointed it out on the power play where the puck went back to him at the blue line, and he so calmly controlled it and made a little move and got it by the defenseman, put it on net, and Hyman tipped it. It was just incredible confidence and skill with the puck from a great offensive hockey player. And now he's got the defensive game as well. Now there's few players I'd rather see on the ice at the end of the game than Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I'd like to see Janmark and Nugent-Hopkins, and I have to think about the other one. But he's Henrik probably. And he is just a fantastic player.
Yep. Easy to admire, easy to like.
My good thing is Chris Knoblock, the coach, he's been under a lot of fire lately, a lot of criticism. People are really super frustrated. They're frustrated with a couple players, Trent Frederick and Andrew Mangiapane. And it can't be an easy thing, and it's an organizational decision at some level to bench these players, to send them to the press box. But were they ever a different team without those two guys, Kurt? And it could be a while. Well, if Henrik's not hurt, but it could be a while before they're back in the lineup. And, there's a lot of talk about Mangiapane being traded, whether there's a market for him or not, and we won't get into that right now, but
sounds like there is.
I think there is, but Frederick, there's no market for, and he's going to be on the team. But whether these guys are in the lineup is another question. I don't think they can, until you can't risk Mangiapane getting injured and playing him. I think it's just unless it looks like they're not going to be able to make a deal. But if it's close, just keep him out. And then Frederick, there's no reason to put him in. He's not one of the 12 best forwards on the team, and he's not close to playing at an NHL level. And so the coach made that decision, and it was the right decision. And I'm going to give credit to Knoblock. He also kept the top line together. That paid off tonight. Not necessarily something that I wanted to see him. but it did work out. When Henry got hurt, there was a third line of Roslovic, Howard, and Savoy, and those guys were wheeling. Ike
Yep.
Howard looked like a different player.
He did.
He looked great. He looked like an NHL player tonight to me.
Yeah.
And,
He easily could have had a goal or two.
Matt Savoy maybe had his best game as an Oiler too. He looked like an NHL hockey player. Roslovic, he is coming back from a really serious injury and surgery. So he's been a little slow, but I think that's completely expected. It's going to take him a while.
Yep.
And so but he had a pretty good game tonight. He's always so good with the puck. So, give the coach credit. He made some moves tonight, and it resulted in maybe the Oilers' most complete game, best game of the year in a lot of ways. Get all those lines going. Now there wasn't really a fourth line because they had to juggle players, but
yeah. But everybody got a chance to play a fair little bit because of it, and score effects certainly contributed to that. I mean, I'm with you on the Knoblock thing. Here's the funny thing about those two players, though. If you set aside I think we both agreed, a somewhat odd decision to start Trent Frederick up with Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid to start the year, I don't think anybody saw that coming, understood it, or agreed with it. I don't mean any disrespect to the player. It's just show me the guy who had his hand up saying, yeah, that's a great idea.
Stan Bowman?
Yeah, well, yeah. But other than that, to defend Chris here for a second, I can't see anything else he did that contributed to the downfall of Trent Frederick or Andrew Mangiapane. Those players have done it to themselves, right? And while I think the criticism is fair to say maybe they should have been benched more and sooner, but on the other hand, as an organization, you spent big dollars, and made some commitments to these players. You got to stick with them for a while to see if they can play their way out of it. And I know it's easy to say, bench them. Well, yeah, but there's millions of dollars invested in this and cap space invested in this. It is in the club's best interest to try to let them play out of it. But I agree with you. At some point, he's got to say, I got to move on. I got players who can be more effective here. I think Frederick will probably play against Winnipeg. And I think he probably was going to, whether Henrique got hurt or not. But if Henrique is out for any stretch of time, I think that Frederick probably immediately goes back in and serves a fourth line role, which is probably the only thing he's capable of, given the level he's been playing at.
I don't even see that. Like, honestly, I don't see that with him. And
that's fair.
I don't see an NHL player, like not even that close. Like, there's all kinds of, like, Clattenburg. I would way rather see Connor Clattenburg in the game than Trent Frederick at this point.
I hear that, but both you and I know the contract that he has, David, he's unlike Mangiapane, who's already said he wants out of town. Frederick hasn't said that. Like, they have to get him right, and they've got to fix him, right?
Well, they can't move him out of town, and he probably would know that. No one's going to take that deal. Like, it's
exactly
just the solution for him is to go play in the minors. And now he's got a no movement clause. Like, I don't know how that worked. Could a player waive the no movement clause to go play in the minors?
I don't know. I wouldn't.
That would be highly unusual.
What player would do that? I mean, let's be honest, it's like the fans who say, McDavid should take a pay cut. You take a pay cut.
Maybe a guy who's tired of not succeeding and wants to get his game back, figure out a way to get his game back. Like, I agree, Kurt. It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
it would be highly.
You're a second-year player, maybe, but this guy.
I don't even know if it could happen. But I see no reason to play him. Like, I think you will go back to him eventually, just to see if anything's changed. But I don't see what can change unless I think there's something. He's got to get faster. He's got to figure out a way to get his speed back. He's lost a step in the NHL.
He has.
And until he does that, probably through some kind of physical training, he's not going to be a better player because he's not quick enough to be a better player.
So then put him on LTIR. Like, if he's still hurt,
yeah.
Like, put the guy on LTIR and let him properly rehab. Right?
I wonder if if he's hurt bad enough to go on it, or if it's just like a thing of him carrying too much weight or something. I don't know. Like, can you do that? Maybe you can.
Yeah,
I don't know.
here's where we should have Ira. I'm sure he's listening to this right now. Go, oh, that Leavins doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
No,
But
you could, like, listen, if he's injured, but it has to be a bona fide injury. This isn't complicated.
absolutely.
So
And that's
is
what
it a
I'm saying
bona
is
fide
if
injury
he's,
you've lost a step?
yeah.
Like,
Is he still hurt or is he just slow?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe it's going to take a summer of specific training to get faster feet, get his
Yeah.
agility back,
Yeah.
lose some weight, build up strength. Who
Yeah.
knows? I don't know what it is, but like
Yeah.
he's just.
But I think
a
you're
step
saying this
behind.
is a lost season already, right? Like
I don't see him.
you're
Like,
saying he's the 13th forward as of right now.
because I don't think it's effort, Kurt. I think he's trying like crazy.
I agree with you there.
Not fast enough,
Yeah.
and he can't make plays. So, and he doesn't have the skill. He's an energy player, so he doesn't have the skill to make up for that. To lose a step. So,
Yeah.
I just think, I do think it's a lost season. I think he won't be playing. I'll be shocked if he's playing in the if he comes back and plays well this year. I'm going to be really shocked. I'll be really glad, but I'll be super shocked because I don't see. We've just seen him he's been given chance after chance after chance. The poor man, and he can't perform because he's too slow.
I'm just laughing because I'm not going to bet you another cup of coffee.
We'll have to tally that up. It's got to be 2 out of 3 games that Ingram starts. So we'll see.
Yeah. So I think you're close to getting your hit of caffeine.
All right, your bad thing, Kurt.
My bad thing was the 2 goals in 15 seconds. This is a 4-0 game. The game is over. You just have to finish it out properly. But I've seen this from the Oilers over and over again. They seem to think that when they're up in a game that they should defend the lead. And I think that's the worst possible thing this bloody team can do. I don't think the Oilers are built to protect leads. I think the best way for them to protect the lead is to keep the puck. And whenever they get a lead, I see them take their foot off the gas. I swear to God, I can see it happening. And then boom, boom, it happens. Now, Alec Regula was at least partially or primarily at fault on both goals, depending on whether you ask David or me. But it wasn't just him. I don't want to just put the blame on him, even though he was in the middle of it all. The whole team just kind of took their foot off the gas for 15 seconds, and it went from 4-0 to 4-2. This team is not built to protect leads like that. When they're rolling, they should just keep the damn wagon rolling. That's the best way for them to protect the lead. It drives me nuts, but I think it's who they are.
Okay, I'll break down the 2 goals, tell you how I saw it, and then you can respond. Kapanen has on the first goal against. They've already had one grade A shot because Draisaitl's turned over the puck in the offensive zone, and Kapanen goes to the wrong guy when the puck gets moved in the slot, and there's a save. So the puck then goes over to the side wall, and Kapanen gets it, and he turns it over immediately. He has a weak clearance of the puck, and this is the major mistake. Was Kapanen's mistake.
It was, yes.
If he's better with puck protection, if he makes a play there's no goal against. That's the fundamental mistake. So then the puck's out to the point, and Leon's a little bit late. He's puck watching a bit too much. He's forgetting that he's now in the winger's role, and his job is to cover the point. And so there's a point shot that gets through. Ingram sees the point shot, I think, clearly, and he just pops the puck to the side. And who's standing there? Is it O'Reilly who scores? Who scores? O'Reilly scores. I like as the shot's coming in. There's a guy in front of the net who's going to who can tip that puck. Regula goes to him to take out his stick. The rebound happens instantaneously, popped in the net. So I see Ingram, Draisaitl, and Kapanen at fault on that one. And I think Regula went to a guy in front of them to take a stick, and there's no time to recover after the bad rebound by Ingram. The next goal, it's another outside shot.
Just a quick sec. I just want to rebut on that goal. Regula is the right defenseman on that play. That's his side of the net. O'Reilly's his man. if that goal is scored and I'm on the ice, when I come off the ice, my coach is telling me that was my man that scored the goal. And that's how I wrote it in the game grades. I agree with your other assessments of what happened on the ice, but I do not absolve Regula of fault on that goal.
So the next goal, there's another outside shot. Podkolzin's a little slow getting out on it, but this one's just a total screen. It's a seeing eye puck that gets through, and Regula is screening the goalie with, I think, Big McCarron in front, and Ingram doesn't see it. So this is like, these are both out. I call them Californians, outside shots that go in. The first one's kind of I just really didn't like Ingram's rebound control on it anyway, but he's not at fault at all on the second one. He just didn't even, there's no chance he could see it. And it wasn't like he was looking through the wrong side. There was just a wall of,
there was no side,
Regula and 6'5" McCarron in front of him, like these two huge men. And
it's like telling the Titanic to go around the iceberg.
You have to be Zabino, Chara in net to look over that. So anyway, is it my bad thing? My bad thing is Adam Henrique getting hurt. Kurt, he has been playing really poorly. He's had a bad stretch. So he started out slow. He had about 10 to 15 games where he played quite well for the Oilers.
Yep.
And then he ran out of gas. He's an older player. He's 35. I've been looking at this. His speed has dropped considerably. When you look at the NHL edge stats from year to year, from this year to last year, he's down. He's lost a step, and he didn't have a step to lose. That said, he's an extremely smart player. He can win faceoffs. He can kill penalties with his smarts. And in the playoffs, he will hit. He's one of those guys who like has 2 hits a game in the regular season, or like not 2 hits a game. He has 1 hit every second game in the regular season, and he goes to 5 hits a game in the playoffs. He or 3 to 5 hits in the playoffs. I don't want to exaggerate too much, but he becomes a very physical player in the playoffs, like Hyman and a few other guys, Janmark. They amp it up, and I think in the success that I think the Oilers can still have this year, he has a role to play. I don't see him as the same as Frederick. I'm not as down on Mangiapane as I'm on Frederick. I think Mangiapane's been a good defensive player. He just has nothing going on the attack, and he needs to work harder. I think Mangiapane may actually be capable of amping it up, which is why there's a trade market for him. Henrique is the same. He's capable of amping it up, and he will do so in the playoffs. And I hope that he's healthy. I hope that it would be good if he's healthy, because he's a useful hockey player who, especially in the playoffs, can help the Edmonton Oilers win.
Yeah, in the meantime, they're down a center, right? I mean, maybe it was just out for the end, but usually this injury happened 6.5 minutes into the first period. And they announced almost right away that he wouldn't be returning the night. That doesn't sound like a minor injury to me. If it's a minor injury, he probably tries to come back and give it a spin. He didn't come back onto the bench. Right? Yeah. So I mean, we know how things go with the Oilers. We won't learn until July what it was or what it is. But I agree with your assessment of Adam Henrique. He is a 4th line center at this point in time. I've even entertained the thought maybe he's not an every game player anymore. Yeah. Maybe he's your 13th forward, and that keeps him fresh, so he's more effective when he does come in. But he does still have those things: the defensive awareness, the intelligence, and the face-off ability that keeps him in the lineup and on the ice in tight moments in games. So yeah, it's a significant loss, and you have to hope it won't be for long. He played just 2:26 tonight.
What's your number, Kurt?
My number is 20. In the last 20 Edmonton Oilers games in the 25-26 season, the team who has scored first has won. 20 games in a row. It's whether the Oilers scored first or whether the opposition scored first. Whoever did opening the scoring won the game in the end. Astounding, right?
Yeah, that's weird.
How do you explain that?
That's weird. I don't explain it. I just think it's random. Like, it's just, you're going to watch enough NHL hockey in your lifetime you're going to see something like that. Because there's lots of time to come back in a game. There's lots of time to have the lead change. But
I mean, having a step up on the other guy is an advantage, sure. But I mean, 20 times in a row, that's pretty fantastic.
My number is 7. So Spencer Stastny was in on 7 grade A shots. He made passes, and they're often in the flow of play where he was pinching in the offensive zone, coming down and winning the puck or making a good pass. None of them were spectacular plays, I recall, but he that was his best game, I thought, as an Oiler. I'm not convinced that he and Emberson are a third pairing that can help, that will win in the playoffs. They're too. I think they lack size, and they lack a bit of puck moving ability. But I think it might be Emberson who will sit. We'll have to see. Alec Regula has been struggling somewhat, but he's playing a second pairing role with Darnell Nurse. It's really tough. Stastny moved up for a game or two to the second pairing, and he started to leak grade A shots against.
He sure did, yep.
He was really struggling. And I'd like to, Regula has never played, or not played, I don't think, very much third pairing hockey for the Oilers this year. I'd like to see him, when Wallman comes back, I'd like to see Regula and Stastny get a chance, because Stastny showed a lot in that game. He can, what he has that can help you in the playoffs is speed. He can really skate, and he can skate the puck out of trouble. That could be huge. That's huge. That's what Kulak could do. Mm-hmm. So, and he seems like both he and Emberson are sound positional defenders. I don't mind Ty Emberson's game in a lot of ways. Like, it's a solid game, but I'm starting to think 7th D-man solid, as opposed to in the playoffs, when you need size and you need puck moving. Maybe Regula and Stastny can get it done. So I'd like to see that pairing come alive, and tonight was indicative of how well Stastny can play.
Well, apparently, Jake Wallman is 2 to 3 games away now. There's a chance he'll play, probably not Thursday, but likely possibly on the weekend. I'm hearing he could play on Saturday. So one of those guys is going to sit anyway. If you think about it, if you put those 3 guys together, you'd have one hell of a good defenseman, because Spencer Stastny is a tremendous skater. Like, I haven't come out and said elite yet, because I try to save the word elite for really special things, but he is a excellent skater. He's the best skater of the 3, right? I think Emberson's the best defender of the 3, and the best when you get into the rough going. Yeah. Right? He's hard-nosed. Roslovic, while people probably think, geez, Regula. Leavins, you must hate Regula. You're always ragging on him. I actually don't. I actually really like Alec Regula, and if you really look at his game closely, he is terrific on retrievals. Like, he really is. He's one of the better Oilers on retrievals. When you have a guy with that wingspan who can get back and turn around and make a first pass and get it heading out of your zone again, that's really valuable, and it's something that he is quite good at. So, if you could just magically somehow mix these 3 guys into a stew and come up with a 6th defenseman, once Wallman's back, you'd be singing. I guess it doesn't work that way, but all 3 have admirable traits. It's which 1 or 2 of the 3 are going to put it together at the right time and turn into playoff performers.
6'5" defender who can move the puck, skates really well, and is sound positionally. Sounds like Chris Pronger.
Right.
Except for that mean streak. None of them has a mean streak like Pronger.
It's nice to have these 3 young defensemen in the organization. They can all play, but they're all 3 are also imperfect. But they're almost certainly not finished products either. So who knows what these 3 will be playing like when you get to May and June.
And I don't hear anyone ripping out their hair about the Troy Stetcher thing, because the Leafs have gone on a tear since they picked up Stetcher, and he's playing well there. But I don't know many Oiler fans, if any, who think the Oilers should have made the wrong decision there. So
I admire the hell out of Troy Stetcher, but it was right to keep these 3 young defensemen in your organization. Like, do you want to be old and slow like the Winnipeg Jets? Then keep all the old guys on your team. They needed an infusion of youth. And for all the people who were damn angry about Philip Broberg, fine. Well, then that's why they're keeping these three guys, because they're not letting that happen again. Right? So.
Alrighty. Kurt, any final thoughts? Anything you'd like to add?
I think we covered most of everything tonight. You touched on the fact that I thought Ike Howard was dangerous tonight.
Yeah, he looked confident.
He did, and he and Savoy are really good friends off the ice, I understand, and they seem to have chemistry on the ice too. And the three of them with Roslovic, as you pointed out, was quite good. Connor Ingram, it's all of a sudden we're not wringing our hands about the goaltending, and I guess here's where we can point out that Tristan Jarry was on the ice for the pregame skate this morning and is probably 2 weeks out. So
yeah. And a young goalie called Connor Ingram is just ripping it up in the minors for the Oilers this year.
You don't mean Connor Ingram?
Connor Unger, excuse me.
Yes.
Connor Unger, he's...
yeah, you wrote an article about him today. I just read it.
Yeah, he's just killing it. Like, he's 24 soon, I think, and next week. And he was okay last year. This year, he was great in the ECHL, and in a short cup of coffee in the AHL, he's been great. So that's really good news for the Oilers to have a prospect like that. Yep. Hopefully they won't need to call on him this year, but you never know. Kurt, let's leave it there. Thank you for talking tonight.
My pleasure.
And thanks to all of the Cult of Hockey listeners, the wisest, sanest, smartest hockey fans in the world. And in the meantime, and in between time, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.